Every successful organization begins with its people. At Incredible Workplaces, we help you build workplaces that inspire, engage, and endure. Recognition starts with certification. Our globally benchmarked evaluation celebrates organizations that foster engagement, inclusivity, and innovation. Certification is more than a badge. It's proof that your culture empowers people to excel. Through consulting, we partner with organizations to transform cultures, strengthen leadership, and build workplaces that adapt, innovate, and thrive. Your story deserves to be heard. With our employer branding solutions, we showcase your culture through featured videos, exclusive events, and media spotlights, ensuring you attract and retain top talent with pride. From recognition to transformation and employer branding, our services create workplaces that inspire people and elevate businesses. Are you ready to transform your workplace into a beacon of excellence? Partner with Incredible Workplaces today.
Thanks a lot, Incredible Workplace, for this recognition. Thank you.
Proud to be Incredible Workplaces.
I'm proud to share that MB Informatics has been certified as an incredible workplace.
Feeling proud to be recognized as Incredible Workplace certified.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our audience, and welcome to all of you to yet another episode of the Culture Connect. Today, we are doing our episode number 20, and I know many of you must be wondering that I am doing this episode after a long time, but I can tell you this is all for good. I was pretty occupied to make sure that we are spreading our wings across all over the world. And I'll start with this particular LinkedIn Live with a great news that we have started our operations in UAE, which means that now the organizations in UAE can also participate in our assessment. And if they qualify, they will also be certified as Incredible Workplaces. So with this great news, we are launching our episode 20. And I would say this episode is very interesting because it has two very powerful women leaders from the same organization, which has spread all over the world. So we thought, why not a combination of different part of the world and trying to understand their perspective, especially on the brand, culture, and communication. And this is one piece that I believe in my previous episodes, I did not touch upon more on how employer branding can help organization to showcase that they are incredible organizations. And not only that, how that really helps to make sure that they are able to engage their own employees and able to attract the right talent for the organization. Well, with that said, I will not keep this suspense a lot, although I'm sure you must have watched our posters and both the ladies out there on the poster itself. But if not, let me start one by one. And first of all, let me welcome Tracy Gardner from WeLink Inc. And she is the marketing director based out of the US, supporting the organization in the marketing and branding initiative. First of all, Tracy, welcome to the show.
No, thank you, Govind. So good to be here. I'm coming to you from Naples, Florida, so I appreciate you accommodating a US schedule. Thank you so much.
And we also have our own Tanvi Mittal. I'm sure many of the HR leaders and HR professionals who are joining from Delhi NCR are already familiar with this face. So Tanvi is the head of the HR of WeLink Inc. She is managing India and APAC and building the workplace culture in the organization. Welcome, Tanvi, to the episode.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Govind. And a big congratulations for this UAE listing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very excited for today's discussion. I believe it will be very worthy because culture, brand, communication, they all are interconnected, right? You cannot think only of one element. So I'm very excited for today's discussion.
Yeah, and I think you said the base of the conversation very, very right, Tanvi, that I think in my own experience, and Tracy, just for your context, that I've been in the world of HR myself 25 years.
Wow.
And while talking to HR leaders, and I would say to a lot of extent our own organizations, although we do pay attention to marketing, and that is more for client facing and all, but the employer branding is the piece sometimes that we do not pay that much of attention. And maybe it could be because that we do lack the understanding of how this employer branding can help organization to grow, especially from a talent perspective. So with that said, what I would like to do is I would like to start this conversation. And this question is for both of you. And Tracy, will start with you and go to Tanvi.
Sure.
The brand, culture, and communication, right? Three different words. But in my opinion, this makes a perfect combination for organization, especially from a stronger talent perspective.
Yeah.
Do you think we should look at it more as a separate entity or separate words and separate field? Or do you think that we should look them together to make sure that we have a sustainable growth?
I think definitely loop them together. I think, Govind, we tend to talk about brand, culture, and communication as if they live in different departments, right? But from a leadership perspective, they're really deeply connected. I mean, in my experience, leaders must see them as a triangle because each one strengthens or weakens the other. I would say brand is the promise, culture is the proof, and communication is the bridge between the two. And if you think about like sustainable growth in a company, it's not just about us acquiring customers, prospects, all of that. It's about attracting the right talent, retaining that talent, delivering consistently and building trust in the market over time. And that only happens when those three elements are aligned. So if your brand, for example, says you're innovative, right? But your culture punishes risk-taking, the disconnect shows up quickly in employee disengagement and in your customer experience. And one of the things, Govind and Tanvi will attest to this, that I love about V-Link is that we encourage risk-taking and idea development. One of the things that we're currently doing in 2026 is something we call V-Link Vision. We're developing 3 to 4 accelerators that will help businesses in their digital transformation journey. I'm excited about this opportunity for all of our employees because many are involved, and I think that they're excited, and I think that excitement drives motivation. Now, when you talk about culture, if it's strong internally, which I think ours is, but you don't communicate it clearly or consistently, you really miss opportunities to attract aligned talent and partners. Our internal culture is driven, and I know I'm going to steal your thunder here, Tanvi, I'm sorry. Our internal culture is driven by what we call TCA, trust, collaboration, and accountability. And I know Tanvi's definitely going to speak more to this, but I love that these are the pillars, Govind, from which we operate, because I think that's so important. I think leaders often delegate brands to marketing, right? Culture to HR. You two would probably agree with that, and communication to corporate communications. But sustainable growth really requires executive leadership of all three. And I think ultimately people experience V-Link holistically, not in individual departments. I would also add that V-Link's not a huge corporation, Govind. We're global, but we're not huge. And we wear many hats. As the marketing director, we handle brand, culture through our CSR initiatives. I work closely with Tanvi for that. And that's great. And of course, we're also the corporate communications department. So we're in charge of all internal and external communications because there's only 2 of us in the marketing department for our global, but we're mighty. So, but we certainly can't do it without close alignment with HR and others in the organization. And I think one of the ways we communicate internally is through teams. I think like teams or a Slack channel is really important, and because it allows us to cross that ocean, without ever having to be there. So, and of course we do a quarterly newsletter to let all the employees know what's going on. And I know Tanvi will speak more about HR at the doorstep, a big part of our culture and a great program. And I'll let her take it from here.
Thank you so much, Tracy. But I'm just really aligned with your thoughts. When you use a word sustainable growth, and it's very important, Govind, I would like to start from there because you can get a growth, right? There's not a challenge because if you're putting efforts, you are having a good clientele base, you are getting a good, product, service, everything, you can get a growth. But if you are actually looking at sustainable growth, then you cannot see these 3 elements are the different. They constantly influence each other, right? So I just would like to share a few thoughts, right? What's the culture? Simply how we are interacting to each other. That's the culture, right? How we are behaving. That's the culture. And as Tracy said, culture is not sufficient without the clear communication, right? Because how your behavior is gets shaped, how your behavior is getting understood, it totally depends on your clear communication. So yes, I again would like to give the reference of our TCA. So this is the wheeling way: trust, collaboration, and accountability. So the pillar communication, which comes under the collaboration, it's very, very important, right?
Yeah.
And we strongly say that for the good communication, it is very, very important that you need to understand a thin line between the react and respond. You need to take, you need to be very confident, and you need to trust on that everyone has the positive intention. Yeah, so these are the few values which will lead in the organization. So this is trust, collaboration, accountability. And when it comes with the brand, right, so how your outer world look your two perspective, this is your brand, right? Your brand is getting strength because of your culture, and
Yeah.
your culture you only can scale up if you have a good clear communication. So it is not you cannot see them as a disconnected. It has to give strength to each both element, to all the elements. Like culture should support your brand, and your communications support should culture and your brand. So yes, I'm aligned that they are not the different part, they are all are interconnected. And if we are looking a sustainable growth along with the fast growth, we need to work together. All the
Absolutely.
departments need to work hands on hands.
Yeah, and so well said. And I just wanted to share a couple of insights on that itself with both of you. While consulting organization as incredible workplaces on building work culture, one of the things Tracy and Tanvi we talk about is once your values and cultures are defined, the most difficult part is how do you make sure that it's cascaded down to the organization in the way the leadership wants it to get cascaded down. And I'm so glad that you spoke about TCA. And by the way, we charge a lot of good money to make sure that how people remember this, but you're already giving it free of cost to everybody because once your values are defined, the most challenging part is that people don't remember those values, right? Let's say 5 values.
Right.
How do you remember them,
That
right?
is right.
And when you ask, what are your values? And they were like, well, I don't know. Then start remembering them. The best way to remember them is to put them into an acronym form like you did, TCA, right? Now you remember only TCA, and then when you start thinking about TC and A, you start thinking about what does it mean. So it's a great way, and as I said, that we charge good amount of money just to give this advice. But glad that
Exactly.
But I would like to add, Govind, here, so whenever we are interacting with our employees, and we strongly
Yes.
want that whenever you are out from wheeling, people should believe that, yes, you would be having these value in your blood because you are coming from wheeling. So this is the culture of wheeling. We live it and we mean it. That is a TCA.
Yes.
yeah,
So
and
true.
also
And, Govind, one thing I'd like to add too is, this really comes from the top down. Like our CEO, he's very passionate about TCA, and he has, called us into meetings before and said, look, I don't think we're communicating enough about TCA, include it in everything. And I think Tanvi's really intentional about how she communicates TCA, and we try to be as well. And it's on our website. And so, being intentional about it really is the important thing here.
awesome. And I would also touch upon that the brand is the promise, the culture is the proof, and communication is the bridge.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope I
Yes.
noted down that properly. I don't think that it could have been explained in a better way than this. And I think this is how we should look at it. And once we look at it like that, it becomes very easy or important for everybody to see how these things are collaborating with each other. A quick question that I would ask, I'll start with Tracy on this. A follow-up question on what you just said, right? How difficult it is for you to make sure that those values and the culture is part of. So I understand the Tanvi piece of it. Like Tanvi is
Right.
HR, she need to make sure it is
Exactly.
part of policies, procedure. But there is a part that how this TCA is cascading down to the client communication. Do you have anything like that where you, let's say you said website, of course, a great way. Like client also watch your website and they see
Exactly.
what values that you believe in. What are the other ways by which the values can also be communicated back to client? And the reason I'm asking this, Tracy, is that people think the values are only for employees. But I think values are also for our clients to watch that what we stand for and what kind of company they are dealing with.
Yeah. And I think that's really a good point. I mean, I think today's employees and candidates can tell when something is just more of a narrative. So, how do you really communicate something like TCA effectively? And I think it starts with a mindset shift, Govind. We have to really believe what we're, how we're operating. We have to, really believe it. I think measure it. We have to operate with it internally. Do our policies, do our incentives, do our leadership behavior support what we're promoting? When I first meet with new employees and they meet with the marketing director, I tell them about TCA and I try to enforce it. And I know Tanvi does that at a level when she meets with them too. So, but I think it has to show up in our everyday, it has to be in our blood, right? So, and I think that's one thing feeling does so well. I think that you can't just declare culture, you have to validate it. You can't just talk the talk, you really have to walk the walk. And I love that saying. I learned it from my dad years ago. I'll give you an example. My dad has a prison ministry, he has had for years, and I love the fact that he doesn't just talk about the prison ministry he has, he really exemplifies it. So when these people get out of prison and they try to do better with their life, he goes and picks them up from the prison and takes them to try to get a job. So I think that, and you can kind of apply that back to the corporate, to the corporate culture too. I mean, do we have regular employee feedback loops? And Tanvi has set that up. She does. Is our engagement data transparent? And then, you talk about something like exit interviews, and when people do those, and I think those are very important, but are they actually analyzed? Are we actually listening to what our former employees are saying? Do we actually implement some of those changes? What they say maybe that we didn't do as well as they thought we could have. And I think that leadership accountability has to be tied to those metrics. So, that's just some of the things I would say. I think it's always in the back of our mind, Govind, the TCA, and it has to be in our blood, in our DNA. And I think we try to live that.
Yeah, I think the key point here is that we need to believe in what we are saying, and what we do. When we do that, it automatically starts coming in every single thing that we are doing. Yeah. Tanvi, I'll come to you and I'll ask you a little bit of a question that is connecting the internal culture that organization has and how it is reflected in the external brand that you have for the organization, right? And why I'm asking this question is that today finding talent is difficult, but I think finding right talent is absolutely difficult, right? So you might find a lot of people in the market, but those who are really performers, those who will fit to the culture that you're looking forward for, are really rare. And that is why I think the talent acquisition need to do a better job of making sure that they are also branding their organization for those potential talent. And once you have people like that, you are not the only one who's hunting for them. There are many other who might like to put more money on the table to get those people on their side, right? At the same time, while we did surveys, as we do surveys in a lot of organization, we have realized, Tanvi, that people do give weightage to money. That's not the question. But at the same time, they also giving importance to the work culture of the organization where they're going. So, question to you, Tanvi, is that how this internal work culture that you are building in your organization along with other leaders is basically reflecting in the external brand of your organization called VLink.
Okay, Govind, you have asked almost 10 to 15 questions. Okay, let me try to recall all the questions and I'll try to give answers for all the questions. Okay. First, but I would like to start from your previous question, which you asked from Tracy, right? I just would like to have one line there, that how we make sure that that this culture should be passed same to our clients also, right? That TCA, which we strongly believe. So we have one quote, you can say, in our PPTs, in our slides, which we use, and we say to our employers that, hey, you are the brand ambassador.
Yes.
Okay. How you are talking, how you are behaving, that is reeling in front of the client. For client, reeling is nothing but you. So if you have those values in you, then definitely this will pass to the client. So this is also a one way where we are strong and we are sure that yes, these are our value and these are a culture where we believe, we give ownership, right? We give accountability. So this is very, very important. And yeah, like next, when you ask the Tanvi, how you take this external brand, right? That your
Correct.
internal and external brand. First of all, now in this digital era, culture is not long internal, right? I believe you both are agree, right? Because we are sitting in India, we are delivering in the US, Tracy is sitting in the US, and we are talking about the culture of India, US, and globally, right? So nothing is internal in today's scenario. And the best brand ambassador, as I said, your employees. They are the authentic brand ambassador, right? So I always use the word employee advocacy,
Yeah.
right? So through their conversation, through their social media, through their interaction. So I believe you also can relate those examples. Whenever we are talking, we are having a dinner with our family and we discuss sometime about someone else organization. Hey, do you know that organization has done these things? Is very nice. It shows their culture. So what is this? This is a branding, right? We are indirectly doing this external branding, right?
Yeah.
So, branding is not internal, it is external already, right? And employees are the best part for that, and they
Yeah.
can do that. Now, you asked one question, Tanvi, in the talent driven market, or when you are doing into the recruitment, hiring, not only hiring is important, retainership is also very, very important, right? You need
Right.
to keep your employees in the organization. So, by showing them a carrot, which is called salary, you can attract the candidate, right? But to retain in the organization, you need a culture. So
Absolutely.
I always ask my employees when they put down the paper that what is the trigger point? Why you start to look out in the market? So Govind, if you told that you have a 25 years of experience, and if you can recall, there is always a trigger point why person has moved to the market. Once our employee has went to the market, then he or she recognized or realized, oh, my worth is this, right? I
Correct.
can get a double, I can get a triple, but why that person went to the market? This is a very important question, and that where the culture plays a role, right? This is so we strongly work on the culture. And so what's the culture, right? We take care that it should be inclusive. Leaders, as Tracy mentioned, that our CEO Sharad Patney, he lives this culture, right? TCA. And we have one value is the accountability, right? And this is the very I'll say nice way, and I love it, right? We give empowerment to our employees. We simply
Yes.
say, take ownership, get it done.
Yeah.
We are giving you exposure, make mistakes, say sorry, move ahead. Do not stop there, and do not get afraid that, oh, I made a mistake, then now what will happen? We are here at your back, but do not
Yes.
stop here, right? Whenever you come on the table, come with this solution instead of the problem, because problem is always there.
Yes.
So this is the culture, we can say, where employee feel yes, they are actually respected, they are actually trusted, right? Because in today Gen Z files say they have, I strongly believe they have money, they have food, they have all luxury things. They are blessed with that, right? They are just working for their experience. They're just so if they're coming for the interview, they're coming in Ferrari with the Mac laptop and iPhone, right? They actually don't need these things. They need a good culture, right? So
Yeah.
And
yes,
then we do have a specific survey on Gen Zs that we are
okay,
doing, Tracy, just for your knowledge.
Yes.
um,
I'd love to hear it.
so we are Gen Z is becoming one of the thing that organization wants to know how to manage. And I would not say Gen Z, but I think a multi-generation
Yeah.
employees are there in the organization, and people are still trying to figure out how to um, you know make sure that the policies, procedure, and the benefits and everything, they are they're implementing are like kind of distributed in a way that everybody feel more motivated. But yeah, so we'll talk about Gen Z some other days. We're gonna take whole day to
Sure.
talk about
That's a
them.
whole nother
Uh,
conversation.
Right.
but I will touch upon the employee advocacy piece that you spoke about, and I think Tracy, you also touch upon that little bit. Is that when your employees or you yourself feel or believe in the values and the culture that you're building, it
That's
is
right.
quite comparatively easy to call out and talk about it outside. So, and
Absolutely. And
go
I
ahead,
would
go
just
ahead.
say, Govind, the strongest employer brands are definitely built from the inside out, right? Employees got to recognize themselves in the messaging. I think with all the digital environment we have, authenticity is no longer optional. It's just required. And I think,
True.
when you're attracting prospective employees, the incredible place to work and things like that, the certifications and things like that matter because these people are doing research. They're online. They're the digital age. They're the Gen Zers. And I think, as long as we train our employees to be co-creators of our brand from the inside out, like every post that they do, every comment they make, every Glassdoor review shapes the perception, the external perception. So, instead of trying to kind of control the narrative, I think organizations should focus on creating an experience we're talking about from the inside out. And that's what I love about Tanvi. And I really enjoy working with her. It's just, she is so intentional in her work to create a great culture at V-Link. And I think it shows in our employees on their faces when they come to work with a pep in their step. When culture is strong, employees amplify the brand organically. So,
So,
Tracy,
Govind, I think we can experience here, today's topic is brand culture and communication, right?
correct.
So, Tracy is representing brand, I'm representing culture, and I can feel that coordination is very important in both the
yeah,
departments.
yeah,
And communication is
for
key
sure.
for
For
that.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right?
thought you
As
would
you
say
cannot
I'm the
survive.
communication because
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
the
you
project
are
manager.
definitely you are.
You forgot me. Okay, no worries. So yeah, so we can say Tracy is the brand, you are Tanvi is the culture, and Govind is the communication here. Awesome, great.
Okay.
All right. So, but I'll go to Tracy and Tracy, the point that you were making about how do you make sure that you are branding yourself and sharing your employee experiences in a perfect way. I'll come to that, but I just want to comment back on a little bit on what Tanvi said before, where I think the very point is that as an organization, we need to make sure that we are taking care of our people
Yeah.
before they go outside and start exploring things. And then they suddenly come to know that they valued more than what they are getting from a compensation perspective in the organization. And that reminded me of my 10 years old story, Tanvi. So I think that company definitely made that mistake. So I think uh, very valid point as the HR leader. So for that matter, any business leader, we have to keep that particular thing in mind. Coming to Tracy, this is I think maybe this is important for a lot of employer branding specialists who are listening it right now live or will be listening the recorded version later. And in
Sure.
many organizations, Tracy, that employer branding is also I have seen a mix of it. Sometimes the HR is taking care of employer branding, just get
Yeah.
advice and consulting from the marketing because it's more like marketing function. Many organizations I've seen employer branding becomes a very vital part of marketing KRA, wherein HR becomes the inputter or the one who are basically advising. So either way, I think the audience today would like to know how to do it in a right way. And I think the mistakes many organizations make, right, and still making, I would say, I've seen very less organizations that are very good in communicating their internal employee experience to the outside. And what will be your advice, Tracy? And I think you touched upon a little bit in your previous comment. What will be your advice to the organizations on how can they basically communicate externally as a brand, right?
Mhm.
Which is a true reflection of their internal employee experience and not just a marketing narrative.
One of the things we've done in the past is we have a podcast, Govind, and we've tried to kind of highlight our employees and their accomplishments on that podcast. It's more of an external podcast like yourself, where we interview the C-suite and people like that. But I think it's important also to recognize what some employees have accomplished internally at V-Link. So we've done that in the past where we've highlighted them, elevated them, given them a thought leadership platform to talk about what they've done and really display that. And I think that makes them feel so good. I think that, brand credibility is everything, and you have to build it from the inside out. We do an external newsletter, and when we do the external newsletter, we try to, internal newsletter. And one of the things we try to do is recognize people for their accomplishments, what they've done, some of the things we've celebrated, some of the celebrations we've had. We do use a social media company. We have a strong social media presence on VLink. We've grown our social media presence from 5 years ago when I came, we had like 3,000 followers. And today we have 215,000. And that was very intentional on our part in growing that, because I think part of it is communication. We try to have that internal newsletter where we highlight employees. And I always ask Tanvi before we do, it's quarterly. I say, Tanvi, do you have anything you want to highlight? What have we done? Should we do this? She does different things. So she always lets me know what we should highlight. And one of the things that I love that Tanvi does too is that she, every month has employee spotlight. And so that's one of the things that we do is we spotlight employees, and they get a little, incentive when they get nominated. So we, as a supervisor of one employee, I can nominate my employee, and other people can nominate their employees, but they have to tell why. What did they do that helped our organization? So it's like storytelling. And I think, that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to tell your own story internally and communicate that before employees can start telling the story externally.
Yeah, so well said. And I just took a note, but I'll just recap for the audience. I think the first key thing is you should do something, right? You should try to highlight things that your people are doing internally to the outside world. Don't just make it something that is for yourself, but even for internal. I love the idea of podcast. I have not seen many organizations, Tracy and Tanvi, doing internal podcasts, but I think that will be so key, right? Why should people go outside to know about the culture of other organizations? Why don't we talk about our own culture? I think if you guys doing that, kudos to you guys. Internal newsletter, and I think the spotlight of the people is such a great idea. To my audience, if you have more ideas to share with us, the comment box is open. Keep sharing. What are you doing, right, to showcase the exact employee experience that you have to the outside world? So let the world know, and I'll be more than happy to flash them on the screen at this point in time. I have some hard questions for you, but before my hard questions, I'll go with a couple of questions from my audience. And the question that I have, and any of you can answer this question. This question is from Akash, and he's asking, what does transparent communication play in aligning employee with business goals?
What role does transparent communication play in aligning with business goals?
Yep.
It's very important.
Yeah.
So Tracy, you want me to take it, or
go ahead and take it?
Like
I couldn't understand. I couldn't hear it very well, but go ahead, Tanvi. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Govind, since beginning we are talking about the communication, right? Clear communication plays a very, very important role because communication doesn't mean, we are not talking here about English, Hindi, Kannada, Punjabi. Communication is that what exactly you would like to pass the message. Has it been understood in the same way? If yes, then yes, you are in the right direction to achieve the goals. And whenever we talk about the goals, I strongly say it's not only about business goals. It should be aligned employees' growth goal along with the business goals, right? So communication is the key, so that we can clear that what is expected, what is not expected. So this I'll say. And when it's transparent communication, so yes, today is social media. Nothing is hidden. That's the reason we said earlier, right? That culture is not internal, now it's external. So everyone needs a transparency. And I'm really appreciate, today's generation, I must say, they are well educated. They know each and everything. So don't be, try to, hide the things. Be transparent, be open, discuss clearly, include them. Take their views, their ideas. That is actually inclusion. Not only hiring a female or hiring from the different religion is inclusion. Inclusion when you are giving the same space to everyone. And for that, it is important for transparent communication, right? So I believe, yes, this is the key for the, aligning with the business goals.
Yeah, so well said, Tanvi. I couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. And I think if, you highlighted on, if there's ever any misunderstanding, we pick up the phone, we have a Teams meeting. I think that's very important if there's misunderstandings or things are misunderstood. And I think that's one thing we do well at VLink is that, and one thing that I certainly appreciate is when I communicate with my India colleagues, I might come into a meeting where they're communicating in Hindi. And when the minute I come in, English, and that is so appreciated from me. And I love the fact that, I'll throw this out. I don't know how much it has to do with the question, but one of the things off the top of my mind that I love is that, we celebrate so many different things in all of the cultures that we're in. And I love Diwali, and I've come to love that, and Holi. But you guys also celebrate Christmas, and I love that. I think that's wonderful. They're very intentional about having a Christmas celebration at the corporate office, and including those of us who celebrate that kind of thing. And I think that's one of the things that makes VLink so great is it is that transparency. And then we always push that out on social media and let people know the kinds of things that we celebrate and how, diverse our culture is and the things that we do internally so that it's communicated externally and people can get the story that they need to get when they come into an interview.
Makes sense. And I think the connection of the culture and how you communicate those celebration of festival is absolutely connected with the transparent communication. Yeah. And I think irrespective of whatever you stand based on the culture diversity, I think it's important to communicate it transparently because people like to hear that as opposed to just double standard on a lot of things. It's better to just call out the stand of the organization and just live with that. I think people will make their peace with whatever decision you as the leaders of the organization take.
Absolutely.
And Tracy, as you have here with us, and I think in my offline conversations, I have asked Tanvi and spoke about it a lot of many times, but in front of our online audience, let me ask you, right? VLink is also Incredible Workplace Certified organization. How do you take this kind of recognition and communicate it both internally and externally for all kind of purposes, whether it is taking the right talent, engaging your own people, and maybe also showcasing it to the customers that you are an organization that is actually believes in an employee work culture where people are there and it's like a culture is great. So how do you do that? Is it more like an employee thing? Is it also?
I'm so happy to answer it. And I know Tanvi's chomping at the bit to answer it too. So I'll touch on it a little bit and then I'll let her take it because this is kind of her thing. But so it's so thrilling when we get an award like this. I think it's such an honor, like Incredible Workplaces. And it really does help in our telling our story, our VLink story, and how great our culture is. We can put the logos on our website, which we do. We can put it in our branded backgrounds, which we do. So we have those logos in our backgrounds. So when we're in meetings, we have those logos, Incredible Workplace, Great Workplace, or, the 500, 5,000, 5,000, Inc. 500, 5,000, whatever awards we win, we do use those in our branding story because I think it's just so important. So internally, we always celebrate it amongst our employees. We have cake, we have big celebrations, we have balloons and things everywhere. I think it's just a great, we make it a party and festive because, these awards they're hard fought. I mean, they're not just given, they're very important. They're hard fought. So, it's something that we want to celebrate internally and then tell that story externally. We want to be able to communicate that externally as well. It seems like my computer is going down. Can you guys still see me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can see you.
I went blank for a minute. So, but we, it's so important to tell those things externally too, so that when we have, the minute they have those celebrations, I'm like, Tanvi, I need the pictures. Give me the pictures. I need them for social media. So we want to get them out there quickly and let people know about what we're, how proud we are of winning an award like this. I think it's an incredible thing. I think it definitely helps attract employees and clients as well, and prospects as well. If they know that there's a happy employees, that's a place that they want to definitely, do business with. Why wouldn't you? So, and then I'll let Tanvi kind of expand on that because this is her baby, really.
Thank you
Okay,
so
over
much,
to you,
Tracy.
Tanvi.
Thank you so much. So, so I use that word when Tracy used in the first question, that validation, right? So, yeah, we are talking more about our culture, that yes, it's a good culture. We do this, we do that. But after getting the certificate of incredible workplace, it is a stamp on our culture.
Yes.
It's a validation of that culture, right? That yes, we are doing good. And yeah, I align with Tracy when she said that it really helps a lot to not only attract the candidate but retain the candidate, and yes, give a good strength in front of our clients, that this is the culture which we are living. And there's a two part, of the incredible workplace certificate there. Yes, we got certified, but very important, we got some feedbacks, for the improvement. This is very important, and I love about that. Right? We got that. Okay, where we are weak and where we have to work more. What are the next step? What are the next milestone? How we have to achieve? Right? Which area we need to more focus, and that is actually required because since beginning we are working. We are talking about the sustainability. It's not only a one time. So that's the reason I really appreciate that in incredible workplace we are certified. It is helping definitely on a social media, the
Yes.
employee, and it gives us strength and motivation, I must say, Govind, to do
Absolutely.
better and better and better.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad that this is helping, and I can tell that last year there are almost 150 organizations that gone through the process and cleared it. And when I talked to them, majority of them did say that they would like to take actions based on the analysis that they actually received from our side. And it's always good to see that we are making an impact out there. And thank you both of you for sharing this with the audience. That how can they make best out of these certification, because I think it's a really tough process to go through. But I think the most important thing is maybe the journey is not over when you are certified. The journey starts from once you're certified,
Yes.
right? So I think that is a
It does.
continuous journey that we need to go. We have less time for this podcast, for this LinkedIn Live to get over. But as I said, I'm going to ask some little bit of tougher questions. So let me ask you that. One is, I have always seen this confusion that who owns employer branding. Is it HR or marketing? What do you guys think? And don't fight with each other online.
I think it's collaboration. You knew that would be the answer. I mean, I think that, marketing does tend to own the branding, but it does start internally. And I think it has to be a collaboration. Like, I think one of the things we talked about is that triangle, right? The branding, the communication, the culture. And so I think that it's just all of us. I mean, I really do. I think that we might drive it. We might drive that engine, but it definitely starts from within, and that starts with HR and the culture they create. So I think it's all of us. I mean, I think it's
I
a
totally
collaboration.
agree. I totally agree with Tracy. I'll tell you, Govind, forte of marketing and branding is a marketing department role, right? HRs are working on culture, but sometimes, not sometimes, every time they need certain parameters, certain guidelines, how to showcase your brand in the external world. So we have done this celebration, it's done. But now what next? We need also those things from our marketing. So yes,
Yeah.
this is a both responsibility, right? It's not an individual. We
We
can't
have
do
to
in a
go
silos.
communicate it. We have to go communicate
Yes,
it externally and internally in the newsletter
internally.
and celebrate and keep on celebrating and reminding
Right.
people what a
So we
great
need a
culture we
full
have.
support. Like I must say, as we discussed since beginning, that culture alone cannot sustain without good branding and communication, right? So
Absolutely.
yes.
Totally agree.
Awesome. No doubt that you're incredible workplace certified, because this is the tough one, and the one that both marketing and HR can fight with each other. But glad to see that.
I would never fight with Tanvi.
Never, 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 Tracy.
Awesome. I'll try this in the next LinkedIn Live. Hope I'll be able to make you fight each other. But failed this time, no doubt. The other question I would ask, and this is again both for both of you and whoever wants to take it. Glassdoor is one of the place that we have seen that a lot of new joinee or the candidates who are interested in your organization to apply for. But Glassdoor is more like a platform where people just come and throw their frustration, as opposed to people who actually like your culture will never go to Glassdoor and appreciate. And that becomes like a place where people, just frustrated employees, come because of XYZ reason. How do you manage that? What will be advice to lot many people on this call? I'm sure will be willing to know how to manage these kind of Glassdoor comments and input that come, because other people are watching it as well, who could be a potential candidate. Over to you guys.
Very carefully. I think very carefully, and Tanvi and I do collaborate on that a lot. So if there's some negative comment, we meet, we decide how we're, how this, where this came from, how can we correct that if we can, and how can we respond to it really in a classy way, in a way that really is intentional and reflects, on who we are, the TCA trust, collaboration and accountability, and in our values, and how we can be better from it. We have to learn from it, from each and every interaction on Glassdoor, positive or negative. And I'll let Tanvi also weigh in on that, because I know we're almost out of time.
True. Govind, I'm totally agree with Tracy. Why people are afraid, because with the Glassdoor ambition bugs, they feel that, okay, negative comment, what should I do? But as Tracy mentioned, accept. It's a positive or negative, accept it and work to improve it.
Learn.
Right? Learn from there. And if, as Tracy mentioned, go deeper of that comment. What is the actual reason? Again, what is the trigger point? If it is a frustration, then why it is a frustration? Why it happened? Right? Might be it's a proactive that now you can take some steps after this feedback. So this is a perception how you take it. You take it as an alarm, or you take it as a learning to move ahead. So,
Always
I
learning.
align with Tracy.
Now, don't hide your
Yeah.
head in the sand on those things. You can't hide from those things. You have to be fully transparent, communicate effectively when you get it, especially in the negative reviews.
In the negative reviews, yes.
Awesome. I must say, both did a pretty good job of not only talking about the brand culture and communication, but also showcasing what V-Link believes in, what the culture of V-Link is. I could see in the comment itself, a lot of people are appreciating what you guys are doing at V-Link at this point in time. So really, really awesome. Just to summarize what you said on the Glassdoor, because I think it's one of the things that a lot of HR struggles with. So what you guys are saying is, one, of course, you have to first of all understand that Glassdoor is a place where you need to pay attention, right? Don't just ignore it, that it is a place for people to put their frustration, but you should acknowledge that a lot of people go and watch it, and then response to the comment that people are making honestly. And I think people, when they see your reply as an organization, they do believe that you as an organization care for those kind of feedback, and you would like to give an honest reply, even if it is a mistake from organization side, accept it and do it. And then also take some course correction if needed in the organization based on those right feedback that people have given. I would like
that goes a long way. That goes a long way. I mean, I think when people are reading about you on Glassdoor, it goes a long way when you see how transparent and honest a company is in that answer. It goes a long way in driving, their decision, good or bad. I think that you can overcome that with how you respond, for sure.
Awesome. I would add one more thing, Tracy and Tanvi, with your permission. Because Glassdoor was one of the pain, as I think, as you guys might have, or others. When I was working, it was a pain because like people used to go there and just see all this negative. One thing we started is to also ask existing employees, and encourage them to go and share their positive feedback on Glassdoor. And I would say there's a very thin line between encouraging and just ordering people to do that. So don't do
for sure.
Just encourage people that, hey guys, if you like this, go to the Glassdoor and tell the world. Maybe out of 100, 1 will, 2 will, 3 will. But I think that's a great way to just, as we are talking about communications, keep communicating this. People will take this advice. Whosoever feels that they are happy with the culture, they will now find some time and go publish it there.
Good point, Govind. Good point.
Awesome. Time flies, right?
It
I've
does.
already
Yeah.
I have already taken a lot of notes and I see a lot of questions that are still unanswered. So I apologize to all those who have shared their questions here and we could not answer. But my request to Tracy and Tanvi, I will share the LinkedIn Live link with you guys where this particular LinkedIn Live is in the recorded version. And I'm sure a lot of people will watch it later as well and put their own comments. So please, whenever you have time, just go to those comments. And if you think that you would like to share your opinion, your own experience, or you want to share the perspective from V-Link, please do so. I think our audience will be more than happy to hear directly from you on as a comment on their questions on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, whichever is your prominent social media. All right. With that said, anything you want to say before we close the conversation, both of you?
I just want to say thank you, Govind, for giving us this opportunity. It's it's been fantastic, and it's a great platform for us to tell a little bit about V-Link and our story, and celebrate with incredible workplaces, and we're proud to be part of that. And thank you for giving us the platform to do it.
Thank you.
It's our
Thank
pleasure.
you. Yeah, I just would like to add thank you so much, Govind. And so you touch up a very important point, brand culture community. Sometimes people, take this as a different parts and different departments. So it's very important. I must say, if we need to grow in this an era, with the digital era, and we have to deal with now Gen Alpha, not Z, right? We need to work on brand, keeping a clear communication, and having a good culture in the organization. So all the departments need to work together, right? If they really need to look a city growth. So thank you so much. Yes, as Tracy said, giving this opportunity to come here to share our experiences and having a nice interaction. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you to both of you. And with that said, we are coming to the end of our episode 20 on brand culture and communication. And what a great show. Two very powerful women leaders from HR and marketing, two different part of the world, and still talking about what can brand culture and communication bring to you. And I'm sure our audience must have got some wonderful ideas from that. And I have their commitment that they will be looking at the comments on the LinkedIn. So if you are still watching this recorded version, do go and put your comments, your questions, and whenever they will find time, they will tag Tracy, tag Tanvi for their attention. But again, once again, thank you very much for being here on this show, and we are going to see you in the next episode with some other great leaders and with another great topic. And let's make workplaces incredible.